Hello everyone, welcome back to the Hidden Haven Homestead. So back in the fall of 2021, we constructed our hoop house. This was before we kind of started making some videos. I did take lots of pictures, so today I'm just going to kind of go over the process, who we used to get our hoop house, and kind of the whole process in constructing it. So I'm going to kind of explain where we got ours. We got ours from a place called Greenhouse Kits 1. They're out of Nixa, Missouri. They're very easy to work with. Sean, the guy that is kind of the main guy there, he helped me out a lot. He had done tomatoes in hoop houses before, kind of gave me some ideas of what was going to be coming up for us in the future and how to kind of his approach to doing it. He's gotten out of that business now, and he is just in the selling of the hoop houses, constructing them, getting the parts and all that. If I can figure out how to do it, I'll put a link in the description below. And if you're in need of a hoop house, their website's great because they show you exactly what you're going to get. You don't have to call them for a price. It's right there on the website. It's all right there in front of you. And I highly recommend Greenhouse Kits 1 if you're needing a hoop house. Now, the one thing they don't do, they only do 24 or less width. According to Sean, in his experience, once you start getting over 30 inches or 30 feet, you start having a lot more problems with when snow and things come on, actually caving them in. So, like I said, if I can figure out how to put a link below, I will. So right now I'm just going to kind of go over what we did and how it all came about. So when we ordered ours, the main reason I ordered from there was because I was going to be able to drive right over and pick it up. It's 30-40 minutes from my house. I wouldn't have to pay $2,000 shipping from some other place and then have to still go to Springfield and pick it up. So that was a big plus for us. It came on about a 8-foot or 10-foot pallet. So I took a trailer. I probably could have got it in the back of the truck. However, with the exhaust fans and the heater, well, the heater actually came separate. With the exhaust fans and all the other stuff that came with it, I probably would have had a little bit of trouble doing it. So we went and picked it up, brought it home. It seems daunting, seems like a monster task, but in all actuality, constructing the hoop house was not as difficult as I thought. So first thing we did is we went and rented an auger, a hand auger, and we sunk all of the end wall 4x4s in concrete. Every fourth hoop, we sunk it in concrete as well. Once we had that done, we just drove the other ones in. So what you get is you get like I think it's 4 or 6 foot straight piece of conduit. You put those in the ground, and then you get 3 hoops, round pieces. So they start right here, they go up a third of the way, then there's one on the top and then one on the other side. So what you do is you sink those in the ground, and then you screw those 3 pieces together, put one end in, and it's got a little bit of tension that doesn't fit exact, but that's to help strengthen your hoop house. So whenever we put it in, we put one side in, and then we came over to the other side and we had to push to get it to come all the way in where we could put it in the other hole on the other side. We also put on these wind braces here. You can look behind my wife's Beth's flowers there. That's a wind brace. We got those at each corner. So once we got that done, we put in the purlins, and there's 3 purlins, one on this side, one in the middle, and one on the other side. We put those all the way down. They've got these special brackets that you can see there that hold them onto the hoop part of it. And then as you can see, we have the cross braces. They also have a special piece to get them on. Put those on, and then right down in the center, we've got one coming from the center of the hoop down to the cross piece there. Now the fun part really began when we decided to go ahead and put this outer cover on. 96 feet long and about 40 foot wide. It makes a sail. So I had my help lined up to do it one afternoon. When they got here, the wind was blowing. Unfortunately, that morning it was just dead still, but we weren't ready yet. So I said, all right, well, since it was still this morning, let's just do it tomorrow morning. So we got up the next morning. It was dark. We came out, the wind was blowing a little bit. And let me tell you, it doesn't take much wind with a 96 by 40 foot piece of plastic to make you kind of regret trying. We were holding on for all we were worth. I had 2 of my daughters holding on the sides. My son-in-law, wasn't my son-in-law at the time, but he was on one end, and my son and I were on the other end, the direction the wind was coming from, and it was all we could do to hold it. We'd finally get a little bit of a let up on the wind, and we could get the wiggle wire in it to help hold it on. But it was, let me tell you, it was tough. So if you don't know anything about hoop houses, the way that the plastic is held on is with what they call wiggle wire. And I've got a piece right here. This piece of wiggle wire, so whenever you're putting on your hoops, you add a channel, and I'm going to step outside here. You add a channel right here to the wood and also to your end walls, and then you take that wiggle wire and you just wiggle it in and out, in and out, in and out. And I've got this on here just because it's cold out and we want to keep the heat in as much as possible. But that's all there really is to putting that, putting on the plastic. Ours, we did upgrade to the roll-up sides. I really didn't use them much last year. I probably will this year. So you got a handle here, but I went ahead and drilled I think it's a 3/8 drive bit, so that I could put my drill on it and just roll them up with my drill. Beyond that, I think I've got some pictures of me putting up the heater. I didn't have any help doing that, so it was, well, I wish I had a video of it because it was pretty interesting. But I got that up there. We got the vent out to the outside here, and I had my son-in-law, his dad came down and helped me. He's an electrician, Gator Electric out of down in Oklahoma. He's been doing it for years. He brought his little dingo machine. We dug the trenches, ran the lines, got all the electric put in, and I've got down at the other end there, I've got a heat sensor that's for our fans, that whenever it gets to a certain temperature, those fans will kick on to cool it back down in here. And then on this side I've got one for the heater up here. You can see a sensor right here. That is whenever it gets too cool in here. I've got it set really low right now, about 40, but that's actually about 50. When it gets below 50 degrees or so, that heater will come on and try to warm it up in here. The other thing I did, this particular hoop house has 2 layers, and it's got a small fan that blows an air gap between. If you know anything about trying to heat or cool, dead space is an insulator. So when you get 2 layers, if you can put some distance between them, it gives you a little more, basically R value. This has 2 layers on it. For every layer of plastic, you gain, I think, between 4 and 6 degrees. So if it's 32 outside, it would be 36 or 38 in here. But with the 2 layers, that gives me an extra 4 to 6. So at 32, I'm in the 40 degree range. When I first put it in here, it's ran all the time, and I decided that we didn't really need it running all the time, so I bought just a timer. So it comes on for 5 minutes and then shuts off for 20 minutes. And it'll do that 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 a year. I've not had any trouble with it. It keeps these sides plenty pumped up. And the last thing we did, well, while we were putting the electric in, we ran a water line out here. We got that all put in at the same time as the electric. My hoop house has 3 vents that are non-motorized. So when the wind blows, they'll open up and let some air in, or when the fans at the other end, which are motorized, when they kick on, then it'll draw the air through those 3 vents on this end. The rest of what I did, I just, I made the ends out of wood. They didn't, so with greenhouse kits, they let you decide what kind of an end you want. It doesn't have one designated for it, so I made mine out of 2x, framed in for those vents and for these motorized vents. And I just made walk-through doors. You can, I'm not sure with them whether you can buy big roll-up doors or not, but I just wanted regular doors. I figured it'd be easier to keep it warm in the winter. And I got myself a nice tiller that'll fit through there with no trouble, and it'll do this, and it doesn't take that long. So that's why I opted for just the man door as opposed to a big door that I could get a tractor in. Other than that, so we've got for the roll-up sides, you have to have 2. You have to have a hip running the length of the greenhouse, and then one on the ground. And like I said, last year I didn't use the roll-up sides much. I probably will this year. Last year I thought it was probably better just with the exhaust fans, but I'm going to try it this year with the roll-up sides and see how it works. Last year was extremely hot. So one other thing, and this was not in the kit, but I did my tomatoes last year, leaning and lowering, and I put from one end to the other, I put these wires running down. I just anchored them in to the end walls. You can see with eye bolts there. Other than that, that's really about the extent of it. Well, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed the construction of our hoop house. I wish we'd had some videos when we actually did it, but this is about as close as we can get. If you like this video, share it, hit the like, subscribe. And until next time, we'll see you right back here on the Hidden Haven Homestead.